The year 2024 has come to an end. The year 2025 is upon us. So I'm going to stop and rank the 10 worst movies that I saw in the year 2024, ranked from the least worst to the complete worst. So yes, I'm going to be ranking the 10 worst movies that I saw in the year 2024. And remember, my list is not the right list. It's just my list, and I'd love to hear your list in the comments. Share your ranking of the 10 worst movies that you saw in the year 2024. And let's get to the 5 honorable mentions. Kicking off things with Borderlands. This is just a very disappointing video game adaptation, and none of the jokes ever land in this film, and it's just a really bad movie in general. Next, the Garfield movie. This doesn't even feel like a Garfield movie. It feels like these people paid someone to give them an idea for a movie, took it, and slapped the Garfield name onto it. Next, we have Red 1. This is just a bad Christmas action film where the jokes don't even land, the action isn't even very good, and Dwayne Johnson and Chris Evans don't even want to be here in this film. Next, Despicable Me 4. This is such a disappointing film. It's so stupid how Gru and his family have to go into hiding for basically no reason other than a cockroach guy threatens to attack him, which has probably happened to Gru a bunch of times. And the villain doesn't even show up till the end of the movie, and to fill that in, there's just a bunch of boring plot lines that nobody cares about or wants to watch. And wrapping up the honorable mentions with One Fast Move. This is just a generic, direct-to-streaming, knockoff Fast and Furious movie. This movie is so boring and pointless. It's just a waste of my time. It does nothing new, nothing cool. It's just the same old movie that's just a knockoff Fast and Furious movie. Alright, so now let's get to the real ranking. 10th, The Crow. Now, I have not seen the original The Crow movie with Brandon Lee, or any of the Crow movies for that matter. But the trailer looked fine, so I called up my friends. We decided to go see it. They did not see the trailer, and we went there. We get like 40 minutes into the movie. My friend leans over and whispers to me, "What is this movie? What is going on? What did you pick out for us?" Because they didn't see the trailer. And then I'm wondering myself what is going on, because I thought this would be a action movie. Nope, it's a romance movie. And I feel bad for Bill Skarsgård, because he's a talented, good actor. He's in a lot of movies I like. And he actually does a decent job in this movie. But he could still not save this movie, because this movie is just so bad. Like, I want to see Eric Draven turn into the Crow within like the first 20 to 30 minutes of the movie. I don't want to see literally like 50 minutes of just romance after romance after romance, and just kissing and stuff. Like, sure, do that for like maybe 10 minutes. Don't do that for literally over half the movie. Then yeah, after all that boring stuff is done, because yeah, this movie is so boring. Like, probably the most boring movie I've seen this year. It is just that boring. I'm just sitting there, I'm just like, you know what, I'm just going to go on my phone here, because I cannot take this. It's just so boring. Finally, he does turn into the Crow. His girlfriend died. And he doesn't even get to the action stuff. He just, like, feels like a detective, and he just goes around asking everybody, who are these guys? Who killed my girlfriend? Okay, get into the action. He literally gets hit by a car in this one scene. Not even a good action scene. But yeah, the only good scene in the movie is the opera scene where he like kills a bunch of guys, finally gets his revenge. Which, okay. That was actually a good scene. The only good scene in the movie. Which I'm like sitting there like, why couldn't that be the movie? Like that literally could have been the movie. That one scene could have expanded and been like a whole sick action movie over this love story that nobody cares about. But no, it's not. It's just this terrible love story. And then we get it. We get it. After the end of the movie, he decides that she can live and he can die. Like, okay, we get your love story here. So just a boring, bad love story with only one action scene. And that action scene could have been the movie, but no. Ninth, The Strangers Chapter 1. Now, I have not seen the original The Strangers from 2008, or the sequel to that, The Strangers Pray at Night, from 2018. I have not seen either of those movies. So, again, like The Crow, I have no backstory on these movies. So it's something new to me. So I just decided to watch it. I don't know what I was thinking, but I watched it. And this movie is so boring. Literally, it's like, I don't even know how it's in like an hour and 40 minutes long. Like, it should be like an hour and 10 minutes long because of how, like, it feels so short. And that's probably because it's so boring. It takes like 40 minutes to actually like get into the killers coming to their house. And then they're just running and hiding for the rest of the movie. That is just so lame. And there's like basically no kills in this movie, which isn't even a bad thing really. But like I would expect maybe a couple more kills. But nope. And the movie is just, yeah, it's so stupid and boring. And the characters are also really stupid. Like, the boyfriend, because the two main characters are a couple, the boyfriend, like, accidentally shoots an innocent guy who he saw in the beginning of the movie. He literally shoots him. Look with your eyes first and see if that's a killer. Like, you just killed an innocent man with a shotgun. What were you thinking? Like, the two characters just so stupid. And just dumb. It's a boring, stupid movie with stupid characters. And it's just a movie that doesn't work. And they're planning for this to be a whole trilogy. Like, I think we just leave this movie on its own. We don't need a sequel. And we already got the trailer for Chapter 2. It's releasing in 2025. It looks bad. Like, the girl wakes up at the end of the hospital because her boyfriend died at the end of the movie, but she survived, wakes up in the hospital, okay? And then she, basically the trailer shows, so like she walks out. Like, the trailer didn't show much, but this movie's probably going to be like an hour and 40 minutes long again. I don't know how, but it's just going to be so boring again. I can just tell. Like, I don't know what their plans are for these, for the next two movies, but they got, like, probably no ideas, so the movie's just going to be so boring. So I don't even know if I'm going to see Chapter 2, because it just looks so bad and boring. Eighth, Harold and the Purple Crayon. It feels like lately that Zachary Levi hasn't been in too many good movies. Like, he was in Shazam, that's a good movie. Shazam! Fury of the Gods, okay movie. And now this piece of trash. Like, pick a good movie, man. We don't need this movie. Like, nobody even asked for this movie to be made. Nobody wanted this movie to be made. I doubt really any kids are reading the book it's based off. This movie just has a stupid plot as well. Like, storyline. Where basically he leaves the animation world, goes to the real world, just to find the narrator for the book. What? Where do you come up with this garbage idea? Holy man. None of the jokes are even funny. They're just using kiddish jokes that literally, who cares about this? We don't need kiddish jokes. Honestly, like, I would rather watch all the Disney movies than rewatch this stupid kids movie. And no kids even want to see this movie. Literally, I went to the theater. Basically, nobody was in the theater to see this movie. I was like almost the only one. And like, yeah, I'm embarrassed I watched this kids movie. Seventh, time cut. Madison Bailey goes back in time to the year her sister and her friends were murdered. This idea is very interesting. This movie should be good, but it's awful. It's literally so bad. Like, come on. Where do you, like, how do you take a really good and interesting idea and just ruin it? First off, we got Madison Bailey and Griffin Gluck, who are good in their other stuff. Madison Bailey, I love her in Outer Banks. And Griffin Gluck, he's good in like that show, it's called Lock and Key. He was good in that. There's a couple other movies that he is in. Can't think of on the top of my head, but yeah. So they're good in their other stuff. And I'm not saying they're bad together, but they're just fine. They're just there. They have no memorable performances in this movie. They're just like, I even forgot they were in this movie. And they both don't deserve to be in this movie. They deserve to be in a good movie. They don't deserve to be in this garbage movie. I just don't like that they're in this movie. But yeah, they're picked. Okay. And this movie, yeah, it's like a PG horror film, which I really, really hate. No swears in this movie. The kills are so bad. Like, this girl gets like smashed on an excavator. She gets smashed like the bottom. It's like an off-screen kill. Okay. And this guy gets stabbed with like this disc thing. Like, again, they're both off-screen kills, which is so annoying. They're like the only two people that actually die in the movie. And they're just off-screen kills. What the heck? And the twist of who the killer is so obvious. It's Griffin Gluck, but like the future self of him. Not, like, yeah, so yeah, it's the future self of him. And he did it just because he couldn't be loved by Madison Bailey's sister. What? This movie is just so terrible. Yeah. So, awful movie. Netflix, what have you been doing with this? But yeah, hopefully Netflix can put out some good movies in 2025. Sixth, Mean Girls. I actually really like the original Mean Girls from 2004. I think that is a good movie. And then 20 years later, the remake comes out. That's a musical because apparently Mean Girls was a musical play. So now I understand why they made it a musical. But the musical, like, ruins the movie. The movie is so bad and just so annoying. Like, I'm watching a movie and I'm like, oh, this movie. Like, I'm like trying to look away. It's just so annoying and weird. Like, they're singing so much and none of the songs are memorable and all the songs are really annoying. And they're just like singing about, oh, I want a boyfriend. I don't care. Nobody cares. So I'm never revisiting this film, obviously, because it just is so bad. And all the characters in this movie, they're so annoying, they're super dumb, and they're just stupid. They're stupid characters. So, really bad remake with annoying and dumb songs and annoying and dumb characters. Fifth, Night Swim. If you didn't know that, this movie is based off this little clip about this girl who's swimming back and forth in her pool at night, and then something pulls her under. That's what this movie is based off. So yeah, they decided, hey, let's make a movie about that clip. About a family moves into this house. They have a pool. They love swimming in the pool. Let's make a movie about that. And there's a creature living in their pool. That sounds like a cool idea. And yeah, that's a very interesting idea. But again, just like with Time Cut, they just ruin this really interesting idea. And it's just so boring because literally half the film is just focusing on the two kids at school and their lives, and the dad who has a baseball injury focuses on him, and stuff. So like it doesn't even really, it focuses on their lives and not just the pool. Half the film about their lives, half the film about the pool. Most of the movie should be focused on like the creature in the pool killing people. That's what we want to see. That's what I want to see in this movie. Nope. It gives us only 2 kills, with the first kill being this girl who goes get a toy for her brother, and her brother has cancer or like a sickness or something. And then she falls into the pool and the creature pulls her under. That is the kill. Super lame. We don't see blood or anything. We just see her pulled under. That is it. And then at the end, the dad dies. Because he got infected by this black stuff. So he was like infected, acting scary. And like there's this one scene at the end where the brother, he is pulled under in the pool. The mom goes to rescue him. And like it gets so ridiculous and stupid how like the pool like opens up and it goes like super down like it's an ocean. And they see all these dead kids, dead bodies, about everyone who's died in that pool. So that is just so ridiculous. But then, she rescues him and stuff. And then, well, the daughter, who's like a teenager, she's like in the house, and then the dad comes, and then she hides. And then he's like, Marco, you're supposed to say Polo. Like, that's so bad writing for this film that, like, they have no good lines. Yeah, like, literally, the characters have no good lines in this movie. And, like, Marco, you're supposed to say Polo. Stupid line there. So that happens, and then the dad just decides to sacrifice himself to stop the pool thing from happening. That is just so ridiculous and stupid. Oh my gosh. And back to the kills, there's like 2 times where a kill actually could have happened, which would have been cool. But it never did. First, they're having this pool party, and then this random kid jumps on the dad's back, and, or not the shoulders, sorry, and they're battling. They win, and then the baseball dad guy doesn't decide to let go of the kid, so then he just goes in deeper because he gets infected by the black stuff, and then starts drowning the kid. But then the kid's dad rescues him and stuff. Like, that could have been a nice kill. Alright, that could have been cool. That didn't happen. Now, the second kill I thought actually would have happened, which they actually teased it in the first trailer they dropped. Back in 2023, they dropped a trailer for this. And it was a little teaser of the girl swimming. And then something pulls her under. I thought that would have been a cool kill to get. And it actually did happen in the movie where the teenage girl's swimming with her boyfriend in the pool. And then she gets pulled under, like, they're playing Marco Polo, the boyfriend hops out of the pool and leaves. Or, like, hides something. And then she, like, it's really quiet. Then the creature starts saying Marco Polo. And then eventually just pulls her under. And honestly, I would have liked that kill, but nope, they let her survive. So, super disappointing movie. 4th, Joker Folly Adieu. This is one of the worst sequels we have ever gotten. This movie is just so stupid. Like, why would they make this movie? The first one, you guys know, I think that movie is fantastic. Really dark, and just a really well done movie. They decided to just say, hey, let's ruin everything good about the movie and just make a sequel. just to make more money, and you only made like $200 million there. Well, the first one made over $1 billion. Like, what? Why would you do that? And the first one, at the end, where they like kind of set up the whole Batman thing, where you can watch Joker, then you can watch like Christopher Nolan's Batman trilogy, or then you can watch Matt Reeves' The Batman. Like, you can watch all of those in like order if you wanted, and it makes sense. Because then you could watch them like they're in the same world. I'm not saying they are, they're not, but it could be like they are, and you could just watch them all together. But again, then they decide to ruin that and just make a sequel and basically say that Joaquin Phoenix, like Arthur Fleck, played by Joaquin Phoenix, is actually not the real Joker, with one of the worst endings in the second movie I've ever seen. One of the worst endings ever. Where basically, Arthur Fleck dies, and then who gets killed by this guy who starts laughing, and I guess he is the real Joker. That is just so stupid. And Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn is not helping. It's a waste of the character because she's not actually called Harley Quinn. She's called Lee, I think. So why literally just say this? We're bringing Harley Quinn as like Lady Gaga's Harley Quinn in this movie, when her name's not even Harley Quinn. It's Lee. What? What are you doing here? Don't waste Harley Quinn. Don't waste that character because she was done super well by Margot Robbie in Suicide Squad, and Joker was done by Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight. And Heath Ledger is one of my favorite actors of all time, and he delivers one of the best performances of all time in The Dark Knight. So there's that. And the musical element in the second one is not helping. It makes it so terrible. Songs aren't memorable. The songs are stupid. We don't need songs in a Joker movie. That is so weird. Why would you make this movie a musical? That is just so stupid and weird. But yeah, I could just go on and on how much I hate this movie and hate that it exists. I could not talk there. But yeah, I just hate that this movie exists, and I wish it didn't. Everybody, can agree with me that this movie shouldn't exist. It is so pointless, and it's also a really boring movie where all he's doing is spending time in jail, going to do trials, all that stuff. So boring. So yeah, just a terrible movie that nobody wants to exist. Third, Something in the Water. If you guys don't know what this is a direct-to-streaming shark movie. And I like shark movies. I like Jaws. I like Deep Blue Sea. I like The Meg. So, yeah, I like shark movies. And I was bored that day. So I was like, I saw the trailer for it. I was like, whatever, I'm bored. I'll just watch this. I shouldn't have watched this movie. And it's basically about, a group of friends that are girls, and they go to this island to party. One of them gets bitten by a shark, so then they go on the boat, drive back, and then they crash the boat. So then they are just stranded in the sea. And they have to swim back. That sounded interesting to me. Something that, sounds interesting. But nope. It is just so terrible. So yeah, literally, over half the film is just them talking and just swimming. They're not even swimming fast. You're just literally just staying there. Like, what are you doing? Just swim back. And the sharks, the CGI used for the sharks is so bad. Literally, I was like, oh, this is the CGI used for the sharks. They look so stupid. Because they do. So there's that. And yeah, just the acting in this movie is so bad. Like, and it's filled with, like, just stupid, dumb characters. Like, one of them literally crashes the boat and gets them stranded. Like, it's her fault, even though everyone's yelling, "Stop the boat!" And she's like, "What?" And crashes the boat. Like, that's all your fault that a bunch of people died. It's all your fault. So there's that. And yeah, so just do not watch this movie. I'm sure nobody watched this movie. Nobody even knew this movie existed. So yeah. My runner-up, Madam Web. This is probably the worst comic book movie ever made. This movie is just so terrible in every way. Nobody wants to be here for this movie. Like, Dakota Johnson, she does not want to be in this movie. She's not even, like, she knows the movie is terrible. That's why she is, just not doing much in the movie. And she literally started trashing on the movie before it came out, which is hilarious. Sydney Sweeney, she does not want to be in the movie either. Because she is not really doing much in the movie either. Because she also knows it is terrible. Nobody wants to be in this movie. They just are in the movie. But they know it's terrible. The shots in this movie aren't actually that bad. I'll give the movie that. That's the only compliment I'm giving this movie. That the shots aren't that bad. Alright? The villain in this movie is so stupid. He's like this knockoff Spider-Man guy who's trying to kill the three teenage girls just because he had a vision that they kill him. That's the only reason. When no, Madam Web killed you, I guess. I could say that. And yeah. Literally, that's it. And, there's a scene where, it's a stupid scene, where Dakota Johnson's character leaves the three teenage girls by themselves in the woods just so she could go to her apartment and just learn something. Just learn something about her mom. Then just goes back, and of course they're at a diner. Duh, they're hungry. Like, who leaves three teenage girls by themselves in the woods and tells them to stay put? Just to learn something about your mom. Like, look at, a picture or something. Super dumb. And yeah, and, literally, this is not a superpower movie. The only superpower being used is Dakota Johnson's character looking 5 seconds into the future. That is it. The only power being used is that. Nothing else. Just, why was this movie made? Sony, what are you doing? And a CEO actually came a few days ago and said, Madam Web and Crayon the Hunter, by the way, I have not seen Crayon the Hunter yet. I didn't want to waste my time in the theater with that one, so I'm just waiting until it comes out on a streaming service. But anyway. But yeah, the CEO came and said Madam Web and Crayon the Hunter weren't actually that bad at movies. Just movie critics were saying they're really bad, and that's why everybody hates them. Not true. I mean, yes, critics did say that, but the movie is terrible. That is not the reason why they're terrible. They're just terrible movies made. So, Madam Web, just an awful, dreadful movie. In first place for the worst movie I saw in the year 2024 and one of the worst movies I have ever seen, Mickey's Mousetrap or The Mousetrap. This movie should be called Mickey's Trash Can because this movie is a piece of garbage. It is just one of the worst movies I've ever seen. And I'm going to keep saying that while we talk about this movie because it is. This movie feels like a YouTuber took $10 from his wallet, invited a bunch of his friends, and went to film a YouTube video at an arcade. That's what this movie feels like. Because I'm sorry, but none of the actors here know how to act. I don't know if they know the movie is terrible, like in Madam Web with Dakota Johnson and Sydney Sweeney. How they know the movie's terrible, that's why they're not really doing much in the movie. I don't know if that's the reason here in Mickey's Mousetrap, or these actors in Mickey's Mousetrap just suck at acting, because they just full on suck. Like at the end of the movie, there's this like one scene where like the main character girl gets her head cut off, and then the guy's reaction, who's about to go on a date with her, says, "Aw man, I never got to go on a date with her. I'm so sad." That's her reaction. Like, act. It's not that hard to just act a little bit. Even I could do better than what you did. So, the acting is just terrible. The kills in this movie are pretty lame. They're just stab in the stomach, you're dead. Stab in the heart, you're dead. Stab in the neck, you're dead. Cut off head, you're dead. Obviously you would die, but do some creativity here. And there's like so many pointless scenes. Like there's this part where the Mickey Mouse killer turns on this like little roller coaster machine, and there's this guy who was drunk who went on it, and like for like 5 minutes straight we're just watching, going around, yelling, "I'm too tall for this ride! I'm too tall for this ride! Turn it off!" So he's freaking out. It's just a small little baby roller coaster. Like, calm down. And Mickey Mouse turns it off himself, lets the guy run away. 10 minutes later, he dies in a whole new location. And this laser tag plays. That's where he dies. So that scene was so pointless. I thought the movie would do some creativity for once. Maybe like squish him to death when he's on the ride. Nope. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm embarrassed. I was actually excited for this movie back when the trailer dropped, back in January of this year, 2024. We're on our last day of 2024. But yeah, I thought this movie would be good because it's very interesting. It's a whodunit Mickey Mouse horror movie. Whodunit mystery Mickey Mouse horror movie. That sounds good. Interesting to me. Obviously, it's one of the worst movies I've ever seen, and it's kind of like a whodunit horror movie. I mean, it is, because there's this guy who's dressed up in a Mickey Mouse costume, going around killing everybody. So there's that. Let's see here. Yeah, but we don't actually, like, at the end of the movie, they do not reveal the killer at all. We never find out who was the actual killer, which is stupid. Like, show us who the killer is, but they don't. They do not reveal the killer at all. And there's this one guy who I think is the killer. In the beginning of the movie, he's like the manager. He's sitting watching a Mickey Mouse cartoon on his projector. He looks over, sees this mask, and it's kind of like talking to him. He walks closer to it, then he's like 3 feet away from it, and then that's the last we ever see him. We do not see him for the rest of the film. He is not there at all. So I'm guessing he is the killer. But first of all, he has no motive to do it. So, I don't know, man. But yeah, we never find out who the killer is. And like every 8 minutes, it goes back to this girl, one of the survivors, telling the story in this jail cell of what happened in the movie. Every 8 minutes. That is so stupid. Like, it would go back just pointless. It was like, they got nothing to say. And she's like, yes, that's it. It'll be like, go on with the story. She'll be like, okay. What? So stupid. Oh my gosh. I just hate talking about this movie. I wish this movie was just never created, man. And they're planning this whole Mickey Mouse horror universe now. It's gonna be so terrible. Worse than the Twisted Childhood universe, which I haven't even seen the Winnie the Pooh horror movies yet. But the Mickey Mouse horror movie, just terrible. Please, just stop this universe. They're actually making that Steamboat Willie horror movie, which is releasing in January of 2025. So I'll check that out. We'll see how that is. I'm just going to watch it to just trash on it. I'll make a movie review on it. And I'll just trash on it, guys. So get ready for that. But, yeah, so that is my ranking of the 10 worst movies I saw in the year 2024. So, Happy New Year. And I will see you in my best movies of 2024.